Hey everybody, it is Garrett, and today we are going to talk about basing settings off of vibes slash tones. I'm first going to extrapolate on what exactly I mean by basing a setting off of a vibe or a tone, and then we'll go into kind of detail about how to achieve this state of mind with a setting. And first, I would like to start off by suggesting you get some type of sound or a song or song lyrics, I don't know, sounds in your head. Get the music rolling in there. It could be the chirping of birds. It could be the stream of a river. It could be a plane flying overhead. Or it could obviously, the most obvious example, it could just be like a song, something instrumental. Maybe it does have lyrics. Maybe it's an indie song. I don't know. Anyways, so I want you to get that into your head. And then I want you to think about what setting comes to mind when you think about when you have that sound or that song or composition in your head. What comes to mind? Is it a barren, rocky, endless, dead landscape? Is it a lush forest filled with those endless river glades? Is it a street with an overly loud car or overly loud cars rushing back and forth? Is it somebody walking into a bank looking to pull off the greatest heist in human history in the fictional setting you're making, whatever? Is it is the setting of a medieval village? Is it the setting of a village within a spaceship? Who knows? And I want you to keep those settings in mind, and I want to go back to why I'm bringing up this idea of vibes and tones. So, with the word vibe, I'm just trying to be cool and hip in the modern day when I'm describing the things I'm going over. But the idea here is that settings carry a certain tone when it comes to the story that is being told. And the setting might not always match the specific tone that a writer is trying to go for, but the setting will always evoke a certain tone for the reader, depending on what the setting, how the setting is described, and what it is described as. And that tone very much carries through either the rest of the story, could carry through the rest of the story or the rest of the book, depends on the length you're going for, but this tone doesn't, if you're going to be consistent with a tone, also try to make sure that that tone is intentional. And the tone doesn't necessarily need to remain the same throughout the book or the story, although admittedly throughout the story it should at least have, like I said, the intention. That's the big idea with the tone of a setting or the tone of the vibe of a setting. Things need to be intentional, and it has to be something that carries weight throughout. It can be a loose intention. I noted if you ever read, and I'll make sure that this example applies back to what I'm talking about, but if you think about the 3 laws or rules of magic that Brandon Sanderson came up with, like, centuries ago, that idea, oh gosh, hold on. That idea sort of has like intention with it, and how specific your magic system is should be correlated to how nuanced and specific and the rules behind the magic system that you need to develop should be. And the idea of the tone of the setting is basically the same principle. The idea of the tone of the setting is that it can be loosely intentional, the tone can be loosely intentional, and the setting can change and reverberate back on itself, and you know, that swamp forest could eventually end up becoming some deep and dark alleyway that some character finds themselves in, surrounded by a mob, or perhaps they are surrounded by nothing within that alleyway, but they are interpreting this situation as being dangerous, and in that case, the tone of the setting, the tone might keep some consistency, but the setting itself is changing along around, and the intention is like a controlled chaos. Yeah, the tone of the setting is just like a controlled chaos, and things in the setting and the story, like the setting within the story, things need to move forward in some way. You can't just write a static story. I know that nowadays as writers, I think writers can get on this tangent where things have to remain fairly consistent, but they don't need to, and the point of a story is change. The point of a story is that there is an intentional change. There is a collective, like, controlled chaos within the story that changes. Something changes. And the setting's tone can bring that mood throughout. So whether or not you have a Hobbiton setting, or you have the setting of the Jedi Council in Episode 3 of Star Wars, there should be some level of consistency within those settings, or within the tone of those settings. Remember, within the tone of those settings. Yeah. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful, and if you have any thoughts or ideas, please comment below and like and subscribe. I am trying to get to 200 subs. I'm actually going to start doing a little bit better with the videos in the future. Hopefully, at least. I don't know. Otherwise, you guys have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day.